Sometimes people manage to catch some ghosts on their cameras. It may be when they're just filming their own things or even the different ghost hunters on YouTube and beyond. However, some of them end up becoming too spooky. Today we will look at the 10 creepiest ghost stories of the year. Beware, it will get spookier. Kicked out. Veronica Shannon, a YouTuber, claimed she'd been experiencing a terrifying haunting in her apartment. After seeing and hearing some strange things all over the house, she decided it was time to get to the bottom of it. So she installed multiple CCTV cameras. At first, things seemed to be calm because the cameras only capture some sort of light anomalies and a few odd sounds. However, this is not a cause for alarm. Things took a turn shortly after Veronica told her friends about the strange occurrences in her home. At first, her children would wake up terrified and screaming every night around 3 a.m. However, things get even weirder after this. Something strange seems to be lurking around the door. Every time someone arrives or leaves the house, this strange translucent figure appears behind the door. It was as though the spirit did not want anyone to leave or someone new to come in. One night, Jane, Veronica, and another friend decided to hold a small seance to find out more, but things took a spookier turn. When they asked the spirit to do something to answer their questions, they actually moved. When the spirit is also asked why there was in the child's room, the child immediately starts crying. However, this time when they tried to open the door to the children's room, it was those being held back. They eventually had to break down the door to get inside the room. But what could this be? Catalina. In addition to the Bloody Mary game and the Charlie Charlie challenge, there seems to be another one that is not so popular. There is a tradition where people sit in front of a creepy doll, and after chanting a certain mantra, they light a candle at the doll's feet. I also didn't know about it, but after this video, you will see that it actually exists. However, the video is in Spanish, but not to worry, there are some subtitles. These two girls decided to try this new challenge, and let's just say it did not end well. After chanting some phrases that themselves are creepy enough, they lit the candles at the feet of the doll. However, one can hear her saying that she did not think it was that scary. Once the girls are done with the phrases, the creepy doll moves. This freaks out the girls and they actually run away screaming. There is no more record of this video, which is said to have come from a random Spanish website. There is even no mention of this ritual, which we can dub the Catalina ritual. Haunted bathroom. This video is completely random and it is quite scary. It is not from some old abandoned haunted house, but rather from a random Holiday Inn hotel room in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. From the video, we can see a little girl unboxing her new necklace, but everything seemed to go haywire after she does that. We can see the little girl going into the bathroom, but after she does that, the door moves and almost shuts itself. From the reflection on the door, we can see that before it lurched shut, a bunch of bananas on the shelf flew off. In addition to that, the tap of the bathroom sink turns on full blast all by itself. The little girl immediately told her family about what had happened, and that is where they found out about the footage. Could it all be a trick, or is the Holiday Inn really haunted? Who's there? This Pakistani ghost hunting channel, known as Wakayatha, once had a team investigate a farmhouse that was said to be haunted by a spirit. However, as they investigate, they start hearing a strange sound coming from one of the rooms. At first, it sounds as though someone was banging something. They spend about a minute discussing it until they decide to open the door. The door opened to a room that only had a toilet inside. At first, it didn't seem that scary until one of the members decided to walk into the room. When asked what's up, he says something is on one of the corners. When they review the phone footage from the Explorer, they find a dark figure in the corner. They eventually decide to go back to investigate, but nothing is there. However, the door locks itself as though someone is trying to lock them inside. As they try to open the door, they hear what sounds like a knock on it. Eventually, the door swings open violently, hurting one of the explorers in the arm. And if you look at the footage in slow motion, you will notice what seems to be a figure moving away. So could they have discovered a ghost or a demon? Testing gone wrong. TechRex is a YouTuber who tests the durability of various phones, ranging from Samsungs to iPhones. He tests them in all imaginable ways, either throwing them down from a very high place, electrocuting them with a taser, burning them, or even smashing them with a car or something. For this particular video, he was going to drop the iPhone 11 into a 50-foot deep hot spring known as Santa's Punch Bowl, or as it is popularly known, the Devil's Cauldron. He eventually makes it to the trench in the middle of the desert, and it is time to continue with this mission. At first, he drops the phone in the hot spring, which is said to have a temperature of about 140 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. When he tests the phone after this drop, he finds it is working fine. He then decides to go for another round, and this is where things change for the worse. When he lowers the phone into the hot spring again, a weird scream is heard from within the water. However, even after reviewing the footage of the drop, there is nothing there. TechRex admitted that he had no idea what caused the weird underwater scream. What could have caused the scream? Could it be the spirit of someone who died there, or some spirits that reside in the water? Stalker. The YouTube channel Ashes to Ashes members, Dave and his brother Chris, decide to explore what seems like an abandoned building. There are times when the locals claim that this house is haunted. This has been confirmed by a woman who claims that there was a ghost that followed her everywhere she went for most of her life. As the two guys are going on their investigation, they record something very strange on their EPV. Later on, we see one of the guys asking the ghost a question, and this is where things get spookier. When one of the guys asks the ghost a question, it can be heard whispering, "Go with him." The ghost literally seems to have gone with him because shortly after the investigation, he started experiencing some strange sounds in his house. However, in one particular hallway, things got out of hand. His dog had picked up on something very strange in the hallway, and it even seemed scared at first. However, when he switched the lights on, there was nothing there. But if you look closely when he was walking to switch on the lights, a mysterious figure lurked in the corner of one of the rooms. Could he have brought back the ghost to his apartment, or is it all a play? The first and last ghost hunt. Amanda Burr and her husband had decided to explore the haunted Hillview Mare Mental Asylum in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. They'd already bought the tickets as a part of a ghost hunting tour. According to Amanda, they never really picked up on any activity on their EVP as they were walking around. However, things changed when they stopped in one of the hallways. At first, it started out with the shuffling of feet at the end of the hall. However, they never really paid attention to that. Shortly after, they heard what sounded like running footsteps, and it was headed straight for them from the end of the hall. Even though the footage has no sound, we can clearly see from the reactions this was not a hoax. Amanda even said that this was one of the strangest things she had ever experienced. Behind you. A person, let's call him John, worked overnight security at the brewery. He claimed that one of his coworkers always claimed to have experienced some spooky occurrences around the factory. However, dear John never really believed in the paranormal, so he never bothered about his coworker. But things changed after this night. One of John's friends claimed he was being followed around the brewery as he went about his nightly duties. As he walks around, he is caught by one of the CCTV cameras looking behind him multiple times, as though someone was there. And needless to say, there was something. As he walks through the door and into the building, some sort of misty figure seems to follow him. After seeing this, John never doubted his friend again. He even claimed to have the same feeling from time to time. John Lowe's murder house. Sometime in 2014, John Lowe's mind seemed to have snapped one night, and this caused him to tragically end the lives of his 66-year-old girlfriend, Christina Lee, and her daughter Lucy. All this happened at his family home in Surrey, England. Before Lucy was killed, she had managed to call the police. Shortly after, John Lowe was arrested, and this was an act that left the entire country in shock. Since then, the house has remained abandoned. After a few years, a team of ghost raiders decided to test the house for any paranormal activity. They wanted to contact the spirits of the victim, who are still said to haunt the place. They tried to speak to the spirits using a spirit box, and what they discovered left them completely freaked out. Anytime they asked a question, they would immediately get an accurate answer from the spirits. With this, they were able to confirm that both Lucy and Christine still lived here, even in spirit form. However, things get weirder. One of the team members claims that she was touched in the back. At first, they shrug it off, but she claims it was harder the second time. For those of you with a very keen eye, you can notice some sort of mist moving away from here and ducking behind the light. This has got to be the creepiest thing ever. Weird guest. Eric Gunner is an urban explorer, and there was this one time when a girl named Natalie asked him to explore some strange activity that was going on in her home. According to Natalie, her mother had rented the upstairs apartment in their house to an elderly woman. However, since the elderly woman moved in, things were never the same. They would find random things move from one room to the other, hear odd noises in the middle of the night, and even smell an unexplainable foul smell from upstairs. And to top it all off, cats and dogs in the area started disappearing one by one. The old woman was creepy because she never even talked to Natalie or her mother, and whenever they knocked on her door, she wouldn't even answer. Therefore, Eric decided to explore the house and discover what was happening. At this point, Natalie and her mother had already fled their house in fear. When Eric explored the house, he found some disturbing occurrences, and even he was spooked. He first noticed a creepy doll that did not belong to Natalie and her family. After that, he noticed a small girl dressed in all white peeking behind the curtains. When he notices the doll, it seems to be out of place. However, when he passes through the same room again, the doll's not there. Eric goes to the bedroom to investigate, which is when things get even weirder. At first, he may notice something digging out of sight under the bed when he gets there. Eric then gathers some courage and explores behind the curtains, where a shadowy figure is spotted ducking into the corner of the room. Eric thinks this is a bad idea, but just as he's about to leave, he sees someone walking in a cloak coming up the stairs. Eventually, Eric manages to escape the place. Which of these videos was the spookiest? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll spook you later.